come down to the Paseo Maritimo. We're just going for a walk. It's very popular with the people who live in Palma. On an evening they will go for a walk, or a Sunday afternoon we'll go for a walk along the Paseo Maritimo. So this evening we're going to join us. It's March the 26th in 2021. We've got this pandemic going on, and there's lots of news, lots of different things have been going on this week, and I'll try and bring you up to date as we walk along the Paseo Maritimo. So let's go. It's really quite an interesting place to walk along the Paseo Maritimo, and usually there's quite a few people. It's early evening and we've come just before it goes dark. Kind of surprising to see so many empty berths here. Usually this is really full, but the boats that are here are quite interesting. So let's get on with the news. So last weekend I did a couple of videos. If you go back and watch those, you'll see I was quite optimistic about what's going on here in Mallorca and how things were developing. Well, what a difference a week makes. So lots of things have changed since then, and I'll try and tell you about some of the things. So last weekend we were talking about the numbers going down. We were talking about tourism starting again. All the things sounded really good, and then come Monday all the news seemed to be going in the wrong direction. To start with, here in Mallorca the numbers have started to increase again. We're still relatively low. They have this system of numbering things here where if it's 150 per 100,000 it's called high risk. Below 150 is sort of medium, and if you get below 50 per 100,000 it's low risk. And Mallorca was part of the Baleares. We're below the 50, and so we're in the low risk together with Valencia. Well, since last week numbers have started to creep up here, and it means we've gone up into the medium risk. We're just over 50 now, but it puts us into a different category. And some of them are from really silly things. I read about 2 cases. One of them was 17 people were suddenly found to have COVID, and that was due to a family gathering. Family got together, they were having a meal or whatever. Family got together, and 17 people came down with COVID. Another one was a sporting event, a swimming event actually. Not due to the athletes, this was due to the people who were watching. People who were watching somehow managed to spread the virus, and a whole group of participants managed to catch the virus. So these are really silly things that we should be preventing. But anyway, that's how it's gone on. So last week I said 200 German tourists arrived. So last Saturday 200 German tourists arrived. The numbers though in Germany have been skyrocketing, and it looks like they have to reverse their restrictions. So what had happened was that the Germans had removed the restriction for return. They didn't need any tests or any quarantine. But because the numbers have gone up, they've now reintroduced tests. They're not introducing the quarantine as far as I know, but they are introducing tests. So anyone who comes to the island now and returns to Germany has to have a PCR test before they leave. So they've got to, before they get on the aeroplane, they will need one of those tests. So how that's going to affect the Easter tourism remains to be seen. Something like 2,000 flights are due over the next 2 weeks, and a quarter of those are coming from Germany. Another interesting piece of news is that the Spanish authorities removed the restriction on British travellers. So British travellers are allowed to come here as far as the Spanish are concerned, but not as far as the British are concerned, because beginning of the week, Boris Johnson and his government decided to slap a £5,000 fine on anyone who ventured out of the UK for a holiday. So the date there we've got to watch now is May the 17th. On May the 17th, the restrictions for international travel are supposedly going to be removed, but we'll see about that. There's supposed to be, within the next week or so, an announcement of how that's all going to work. The numbers are dropping in the UK, so that's a distinct possibility that they will look at removing the restrictions for holiday travel. But where you'll be able to go, that's not so clear, because countries like France and Germany, the numbers are soaring again, and here in the Baleares our numbers are still low, but I'm sure they're going to be watching the progress of the numbers over the next few weeks to see if we are on a red list or a green list. There's been something of a vaccination fiasco going as well in the last 2 weeks. There's been some reports of the AstraZeneca vaccine causing side effects, which included blood clots, which is very serious. And so in Europe it was banned for a while, and then the European Medical Agency decided no, it's okay. And for us here in Mallorca, it was only ever going to be given to people under the age of 55, so the older people like us were not going to be given the AstraZeneca anyway. We were going to have to wait for the Pfizer vaccine. Well, amongst all of the research that's been done, they've decided it's now safe for the over 55s, and so we're now on the list for the AstraZeneca. But I think we've perhaps got left out somewhere along the line, because we're still waiting, and there's a lot of younger people, certainly in the school where I teach and where Anita teaches, a lot of the younger teachers have been vaccinated already, and we're having to wait. But we're patient, and we'll wait until they call us and tell us to go for our vaccination. And I'm not sure whether we'll get the AstraZeneca or the Pfizer or one of the other vaccines that's been spoken of, Moderna, and there's a Russian vaccine as well that's on the list. So the boats you see here, traction boats, they're coming out. These are the ones that will take people out on trips. They're all getting ready. I read today that Calvia has May the 1st as its date for opening the beaches officially. The beaches are not closed, the beaches are open, but when they open the beaches officially, it means the sunbeds, the hammocks, and the parasols will be there for rent, and on the bigger beaches there's going to be a lifeguard. So May the 1st is the date for that, and they've not changed any of that, so that's all going ahead. It looks as though they're just getting these boats out and checking them over, cleaning them up, getting ready for the German invasion. So today is the 26th of March, and this is officially here the start of Easter. Our school doesn't actually close until next Wednesday, but now they consider this Easter. And so we here in Mallorca now, from today, have some new restrictions. So the island has been sealed off for the next 2 weeks until the 11th of April, the island is sealed off to the rest of Spain. So people can't travel from anywhere else in Spain to the islands, and we on the islands can't travel to anywhere else in Spain. But people can travel from another country in Europe, like Germany for example. They can come to Mallorca, but the Spanish people living on the mainland can't come here. It's caused a lot of controversy over the last few weeks, but that's the way it is, and that's what we've got to accept. Doesn't prevent inter-island travel, because Baleares includes the islands, so Menorca, Ibiza, Formentera. We could, if we wanted to, still travel between the islands, and reports in the local newspaper are saying that the number of bookings has soared over the last few days for people to travel between the islands. People just want to get off the island. Some people here refer to it as islanditis. It's living on an island, you feel sometimes a little bit claustrophobic, as though you need to get off the island. It's a big island and there's lots to see, so I rarely feel like that, but some people do get this islanditis and want to get off, even if it is to go to another island. So over the next 2 weeks we have some new restrictions. Besides the travelling restriction, they've now closed the interiors of bars and restaurants. So last week we got all excited that we could actually go out for a meal and sit inside. It does get a little bit chilly, and so last Saturday we were in Santa Ponsa, and we went to a bar there, and then on Sunday we went to Namasti, an Indian restaurant in Palma, with our friends Monroe and Marcia, and we had a fantastic Indian lunch. But when we came out of there, we did notice that the bars that we walked past to get to our car were very full. Lots of people, socially distanced, but a lot of people were out enjoying the fact that they could sit inside or sit outside. Great for the bars, but as the numbers went up Monday, Tuesday, they decided that nope, we've got to close the interiors again. So for the next 2 weeks, until there's a review, the inside of the bars and restaurants are going to be closed, and they'll only be able to serve drinks and food on the terraces. It's a big problem for a restaurant close to us which doesn't have a terrace. So they've opened for 1 week, or maybe 2 weeks, and now they've got to close again because they don't have a terrace to open up. So they can't actually serve food, and I feel really sorry for them, because it's obviously cost them a lot of money to open up again, to get all the staff sorted and to buy in all the food and necessities that they need to serve, and now they can't use it. But that's something they've got to get on with. Getting a little bit busy on the Paseo Maritimo. So the bars and restaurants open only till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they can only serve on the terraces outside, or they can carry on doing takeaways. So takeaways, a lot of restaurants have adapted themselves so that they can provide takeaway services, so that will carry on, and they can do that into the evening. We have a curfew, and the curfew hasn't changed, so the curfew's from 10 o'clock at night till 6 o'clock in the morning. So 10 o'clock you have to rush out and get home, and you have to stay at home until 6 o'clock in the next morning. Obviously, unless you've got some good reason to be out, going home from work. But should be nobody on the roads between 10 o'clock and 6 o'clock. On Thursday night, we went to the theatre, to see the Balearic Symphony Orchestra, and that's been running pretty much as normal over the past few weeks, few months actually. We saw an excellent concert, but the numbers are restricted. They're only allowed 50% capacity, and it was in fact not even 50% on Thursday night. A number of people just didn't turn up, or we'll see what it's like in the future events. But on Thursday it didn't seem to be as many people there as we'd seen before, so people are really starting to think about it, whether it's safe to go out and do these things. But as I've said, there is only about 50 cases per 100,000 here in Mallorca, and the numbers in the hospitals, in the ICU and on the wards have continued to fall. So some of the excess numbers is due to increase seen in the testing that they're doing, and they're not being so severe. As far as the vaccination is concerned, just getting back to that again, the vaccinations restarted on Wednesday, so it took them a few days after the announcement it was all going to be safe, and people are now being called, but it does seem to be a little bit slower than they would like. And they've got these huge centres set up for vaccination, but they're not rolling them out as quickly as they would like to. The plan is still to have everyone vaccinated by June. If they're going to do that, they're going to have to get on very, very quickly. And the reason for that is because they want to open up the island to the tourists, and they won't feel safe doing that until the majority of the population of the Balearic Islands of Mallorca, Ibiza, Menorca and Formentera have actually been vaccinated. So hopefully in the coming weeks we'll see the stepping up of the vaccinations. I'm sorry if this is turning into a long ramble, but there just seems to have been so many things going on during this past week. It's really hard to keep up. I was in a conversation with Alex from Mallorca Under the Sun. She does a great job on YouTube keeping people up to date with what's going on, and she put a video out in the middle of the week, and then she wrote back to me. She said within a nanosecond of me putting the video out, something had changed, and that's what's happening now. We can make these remarks, we can explain things, but the rules seem to be changing so quickly. So you need to keep up to date by reading the news and following whoever you rely on. I get most of my information I get from reading the newspapers here, the local newspapers. I concentrate on the Mallorca Daily Bulletin, obviously. That's an English daily newspaper here, and it's part of a larger group, the Serra Group, and Última Hora is a Spanish newspaper, so I'm an avid reader of Última Hora, and I guess that most of the information I get comes from those two places. But I do also have a look at the EB3. EB3 is the Spanish Mallorquin television for the Balearic Islands, and they have a website where they give local news as well. And there's another one called Crónica Balear, which also gives lots of good local news. We're just walking through a river which has got no water. And if you look at some of the other videos of us walking along the Paseo Maritimo, we've had to walk along those stepping stones, which are dry as a bone today. But this part here is completely dry, and it shows the water level does in fact change in the Mediterranean here in Mallorca, not because there's a tide particularly, but because of changes in the air pressure. Having been out for a walk for a while, we'd normally at this point be looking for somewhere to go for a coffee. But it's now 10 to 7 and it's past that 5 o'clock curfew when all the bars, all the restaurants have to close, even on the outside, so there's nothing outside open. Quick little weather report. We've had some really ups and downs with the weather, some storms, some heavy rain, some wind. That seems to have calmed down, and over the next week or so, when you look at the longer range weather forecast, it seems as though the weather's more or less settled, and over the next day or two we're looking at temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius, maybe even a little bit higher, so that should be kind of nice. We've got some thin cloud up above at the moment, virtually no breeze, and the temperature's just pleasant for walking. It'll go cold in the evenings and may even go down into single figures, but in the daytime it'll start to warm up again. With us coming up to the Easter holidays, people are getting down to their boats, people who live here, and just making sure that everything's okay. And they will be out over the next few days, especially if the weather's pleasant. We should see quite a few of these smaller craft out on the sea. Anita was speaking to Baxter Marine in Port Al's, and he was telling her that some of the boats in Port Al's, they've been there for, well, that's where they're normally moored, so they've been there for quite a while, but their owners maybe are in the UK and haven't actually seen their boats for nearly 2 years now. So next time we're in the Port Al's area, we'll try and walk up and down some of the quays, so that if anyone's watching from home, from the UK, they can have a look at their boats, if they see how they're being looked after by the people in Puerto Portales. These boats, though, are mostly owned by people who live on the island, so they can come down and maintain them. We're going to start heading back as the sun's going down now, so it'll start going dark, so we'll start heading back. Always looks a little bit different when we're heading in the opposite direction, heading towards Belvedere Castle up on the hill there. A little football update. I'm sure you realise that we are Real Mallorca supporters and fans, and we're really missing going to the stadium to watch them. It's been over a year now since we last went to see a live match, and we haven't even been able to go to the bars to watch the matches either, so we're missing that. But we do follow them on the TV, and if you're out of Spain, the matches are on YouTube. So if you go to La Liga Smart Bank on YouTube, you can watch the football matches there and keep following Real Mallorca. We are top of our league, and if we stay there, that means we go up into La Liga again, and so we've just got to hope We're not playing until Monday night, so we've got to watch all of the other teams, see how they go on over the weekend, and then Monday night we'll see how Mallorca gets on. And hopefully another win, keep us up at the top. It's getting a bit tense. Hopefully before the end of the season we'll be able to get back to seeing the matches live, back in the stadium. Maybe too much of a dream to think about actually going to watch away matches. That's something we have done in the past, but obviously we haven't done that for a long time. I'm just going to walk past or over or through the dry river. So Monday night, Mallorca are playing Fuenlabrada. It's quite late, it's 9 o'clock match hour time. Anita's doing the stepping stones just to prove that she can. I'll just walk up the ramp. I think it's actually gone past coffee time, and would be now time we'd like to stop in a bar and perhaps
glass of vino
or a nice cold beer. And some people actually just bring a bottle with them, sit on a bench and have a glass of vino or a beer overlooking the boats. And what better thing could you do? It's really quite peaceful, it's beautiful, the temperature's quite pleasant. Put a jacket on, now I'm wondering whether I needed to. Most of the hotels, of course, are closed. There's the Hotel Costa Azul with its SOS Turismo signs up. Save our summer has become the slogan. But there are some hotels that are open, and I imagine that in the German areas, many more of them. If you are staying in a hotel, the same rules really apply, or at least very similar rules. The bars have to close at 5 p.m. The restaurants, though, can stay open later. I guess that's because they could have a lot more people to get through, and so the restaurants are allowed to stay open until 10 p.m. So if you're staying in a hotel, that's not such great pressure. There's a hotel, the Mirador, across the road there, and that's a hotel that is open. So there are some hotels here that are open, but not too many. If you're looking for some other videos of Mallorca, there's another fellow YouTuber who's inspired me quite a lot, and that's Andrew. Lives up in the north of the island, and he's got a Facebook page, and he also does a YouTube channel, Loving Life in Mallorca, and he puts videos out regularly. And if you're interested in drone footage, he's got some amazing drone footage. He makes me jealous, but does a great job with that. So Andrew up in the north of the island, and Alex down in the south of the island. She lives fairly close to us. Across the road there we've got the auditorium, which is a really big theatre. It's actually two theatres. There's a big theatre and a smaller theatre called the Sala Mozart inside there, and that's where we used to go to watch the orchestra. Now they go to the True Theatre. The True Theatre is actually part of a school and is really the school theatre, but it's quite an amazing place. I thought of trying to do a video of the orchestra, but I'm not sure what the copyright restrictions are, so you just have to believe me, or come along, better still, come along to one of their shows. They are an excellent orchestra, doing a great job, and put on regular performances, not only here at the Trui Theatre, but they do, it's the Baleares Symphony Orchestra, so they do actually get out to the other islands, and they do get out to other parts of Mallorca as well and give their performances. So it is truly a Baleares Symphony Orchestra. For those of you who haven't been along the Paseo Maritimo for a while, and it has changed in the last year. They've made it much more of a pedestrian place. They've widened this area so that the people of Palma can walk along it. A consequence of that is that they've narrowed the roads. The roads do feel a little bit narrow, a bit claustrophobic, and sometimes even a little bit dangerous. But the walking space is great. Just looking out on the water there, we've got the kayakers out. Kayaking, a very popular sport here in Mallorca. And with the Olympics coming up, there was a team which was actually based here in Mallorca that was in the last Olympics. When I get home, I will try to get this video uploaded as quickly as I possibly can, in the knowledge that as soon as it's up there, it's probably going to start to be out of date, and we need to refresh it. So we're coming up to the weekend, and that means I don't have to go to school tomorrow. Got no classes tomorrow or Sunday, so all being well, we'll be out and be videoing somewhere else. So do look out for the next video that's coming out. We've had lots and lots of subscribers over the past week or two. I'm so grateful, it makes us feel really good, and lots of wonderful comments. Keep them coming, we love the comments. I sometimes lose them if you don't write them underneath the video in the YouTube channel. I sometimes lose the comments because they get plastered all over Facebook or into different groups on Facebook, and so it's more difficult to keep tabs on those. So if you can, put your comments in the YouTube channel, and we try to reply to all of them. We certainly do read everyone, so thank you for that, and spread the videos around, let people see them. Anyone who has got an interest in Mallorca, in Palma, in holidays, then just share the video, let them have a look. And if you're watching this in 5 or 10 years time, I suggest you turn the volume down, because nothing will be relevant at all. So it's beginning to go dark now. There's still quite a lot of people out. Some eating their ice creams, 1 or 2 drinking beer. You have to be careful drinking beer on here. It's referred to as a botellon. It's where people come along and bring their own bottles and have a drink. Very popular with the youngsters on a Friday night, Saturday night, but frowned upon by the local government. It's just about 7:15 in the evening now, and the sun's just going down. It's just gone down, so it's getting a little bit darker. But the people are still out on the Paseo Maritimo, enjoying their promenades as we have done. We're nearly back at the car now, not too much further, and Anita will be having a look at her watch to see if she's done her 10,000 steps. I'm sure she's done well in excess of 10,000 steps today.
9,100.
Oh dear, she's only done 9,100. I think she might have to walk home. I've just checked my phone and I've done 9,300. It's not very often I can say that I've done more steps than Anita. Well, here we are, back where we started. I hope you've enjoyed the walk with us along the Paseo Maritimo here in Palma on the 26th of April 2021.
March.
Oh, it's March. Got the date wrong. Hope you've enjoyed the walk with us this evening on the Paseo Maritimo on the 26th of March 2021.
And he hasn't had a drink yet.
But I'm looking forward to one when we get home. Please share the video with your friends and colleagues, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and thumbs up, do the lot. And we'll see you hopefully tomorrow. We'll be making another video. Not sure where we're going yet, but somewhere here in Mallorca. So bye for now.
Bye.